There. I had the wrong microphone on. I had almost everything ready, but I had the wrong microphone on. So hopefully I'm live. Hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. Uh, I remember I'm having flashbacks of last week. Anyway, yeah, I think computer-wise things are going really, really well. Let's see. I'm even going to use my Stream Deck to try to swap to down here, and it looks like it worked. Yes. Awesome. What did I? Oh, I did need to do something. I was going to do something. I don't remember what. Good. I'm glad everybody can see me and hear me. So, with my new system now, both of my microphones work, including my wireless headset mic. So when I'm doing training, I like to use that mic. It's not as good of a quality mic, like it doesn't sound quite as good, but you've probably noticed sometimes during the live streams when I go down here and I start working on stuff, I don't have good mic control, and so having it right on my face is generally a really really good option for me. So let me clear the screen out. I want to make sure I'm not like exposing anything that would make anybody uncomfortable. I mean, I guess myself included, but I'll zoom in a little because we're going to be doing some command line work. Wahaha. Anyway, I'm already behind. The comments. Let me make sure I got that working. Oh, good. Yes, the RE20 is an awesome mic. I really do like the mic. I bought three back when I back when I had a real job with prospects for the future. Before I started the craziness, I got three really nice microphones. It was back when I first started being one of the guest hosts, co-hosts, I guess, on Floss Weekly. I bought. So most of the people on Floss Weekly, like the hosts, they get sent. What is it? A Heil mic? Heil. Heil sounds. Whatever that kind of microphone, that brand of microphone. They have the. Hold on, I might have it right here. Yeah, they have it. So I bought this one. Oh, the PR40, the Heil PR40, Heil Heel, whatever it is, PR40. I do like that mic. That's what Leo Laporte uses. It's a pretty nice sounding mic. And then I bought, the standard Shure mic. I forget. It's the mic, the SM7B mic. I like that one a lot too. The thing, I mean, that one really has to have a good preamp because it is not a very, I don't want to say it's not sensitive, but it doesn't have a lot of oomph, right? You have to make sure that it has a really good preamp. This one, though, I think I like this one the most. The RE20, of course, is the other one that I bought. Because of its whole like proximity thing. Like I sometimes I will get too close and it doesn't go over boomy on me. So anyway, yeah, that's the story of the microphones. Oh, is this happening? Is it going offline every 20 seconds or so? I will start talking and I won't stop talking and I won't stop talking because I'm going to keep talking to see if my mic goes offline. Is my mic going offline? I don't know if it's been 20 seconds, but I'm going to run out of things to say, so I'm going to read the overview really quick. This week is a bit of a challenge. You will need to set up a web server either on your local machine or on a separate machine and have it serve two different web pages depending on what domain name is used. For example, http://server1 and http://server2 should return different web pages even though server 1 and server 2 resolve to the same IP address. So did I have any cutouts or are things going well? I don't know. Anyway, I want to know if it's just Mason or if it's me. Your mic is off and on. What's in me? No issue here. Fine on my end. All right. Okay. And Mason's probably already gone. Okay, cool. Hey, thank you for troubleshooting. And Mason had a, a very good reason to question my audio because my goodness, after last week, what a nightmare that was. So I apologize again for. So not only so if you have a stream cut off briefly, like for a few seconds, YouTube will allow the stream to pick back up. Like if it's just like a network interruption. But if you, like me, had to reboot your computer hoping that would make things work, that's too long. And it's like, oh, that stream's over. I'm sorry, you can't continue that stream. That stream is now a done deal. And so I couldn't restart that stream and it gets like a new thing. So anyway, I apologize for last week. Thank you for everybody who managed to come back and watch the low rent version of the stream. I think we did it all from my little Logitech cam down by my Wacom tablet. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, you probably saw my video, or if not, that's fine. I think most things are working on my Linux machine, including I did figure out finally that weird flickery issue that was in the Mastodon video. That was driving me nuts. And it turns out, from what I can tell, it's just for some reason I can't use hardware accelerated compositing like with my desktop compositor on Linux. But if I set it to just Xrender, just the standard compositor, it seems to work perfectly fine. And I honestly don't notice any difference as far as performance on everything else on my desktop. So I'm not going to try to fix that problem. It's like it doesn't seem like the juice is worth the squeeze at that point. The last issues that I have are my Wacom tablet. Oh, Mason, I'm glad. When a reboot does it, I'm so happy. No, and please don't apologize, especially after last week and the last few weeks I've had. I appreciate the letting me know if something in my audio was cutting out, because I mean that's a distinct possibility with how things have been going. Bjorn, hello. I don't think I've seen you in a while. It's good to see you here. Thank you for stopping in. I lost my train of thought already. What was I talking about? Oh, the Wacom tablet. I did finally get a response on GitHub. I posted to the Wacom input like kernel GitHub page thing, and I got a response. They asked for more information. So it would be really, really great if I got a response to that, because it's hard to explain what exactly goes wrong here. You know what though? I have a private video. This will just be for people on the live stream here, I guess. How do I get to my page? Okay, there's my page. I mean, you're obviously not seeing this part, but content. Listen to Sean narrate his clicking. This is an exciting live stream. All right. So if you watch this video, which I just linked to, it's unlisted. It shows exactly what goes on with my Wacom tablet. It's so strange. And I hope that it gets solved. But like I said, I bought the glove. I haven't actually used it yet, but it's a glove, kind of, that goes on. Put it on here. It's now a fashion show. Welcome to the fashion show. So it's this glove, and you wear it, and this is an anti-capacitive touch thing, supposedly. And hopefully when I write, maybe I already put this thing on for the video that I talked about. But anyway, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to. But I would like to actually get the problem solved. That would be even better. Let's see, where'd my mouse go? Here we go. So what equipment I use? Yeah, so this has changed, and I'm not 100% thrilled with how I create my slides. But I will tell you right now, and we will get to the weekend assignment. I know we normally start with that, but after last week, it just felt like we needed to just have some fun at first. So what I use right now, the markup tool is probably not going to change. It is it's called Grommet MPX. Let's see if I can get a link. Grommet MPX. It should just be in your distro. Here's a link on its floss. I'm going to paste it in the live stream. So this is the annotation tool that I use. Here, I'll show you in real time here. So we'll go down here. Basically, I just hit a hotkey. It's F9, and then I can draw. And hopefully, yeah, this is going on the output too. And it's nice. It's even pressure sensitive. So like if I barely touch it, it's like that. And if I really lay on it, it's heavier. I can switch colors. It takes a little bit of configuring the file to change how to do colors. But anyway, this is how I do annotation. I used to use PowerPoint when I used, oh, sorry, down here now. I used to use PowerPoint when I was strictly on Windows, but now I'm going to use Grommet MPX for that part. And slides. Right now I'm using canva.com to, dang it, let me go back. I'm using canva.com to make slides, and I just make them, 1080p. And then I export the slides as PDF. Hello, Catherine. You are late, but I mean, all you've missed is a little bit of silliness, I think. So anyway, so I make PDF files, and I think I have, yeah, I did one already using my new setup here. So it's going to be a Linux Plus. I know you can't see. Again, I'm clicking while we're going. Yeah, let's go back to the Wacom here. So this is, this is just my organization or whatever. This is a PDF, and I just made this on canva.com, and I exported it to PDF, and then I can literally go through the PDF files. It's like a presentation. I use whatever the a trim or something. Whatever the PDF program on Linux is, Atrill is the one that I use, and it just has a presentation mode where it will put them full screen. And so I do that full screen, and so yeah, I've made these, and then as I'm presenting is where I'll use the Grommet MPX program to actually annotate. So that's how I do slides right now. I used to use why didn't it? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I used to use just PowerPoint. I would make my slides in PowerPoint, and then when PowerPoint was being presented, I would use the PowerPoint annotation, and I would use Auto Hotkey on Windows to change the color of the pens. And I really that was so good for doing presentations. And I truly really like that. Sebastian, hold on, let me put your thing up here. Yeah, so I actually use Flameshot for screenshots. That's what I use for doing screenshots as well. And that's just a quick hotkey. I mean, I don't know what it'll see if I do so I have my keys mapped to Control Escape. I wonder if it will show the process. Oh, got dimmer. Yeah, it's looking good. And then I can, oh, it didn't show that. I don't think, maybe. I don't think so. How do I get out? I don't think it actually showed any of the stuff that I did, but yeah. So Flameshot is what I use for screenshots, but I don't. And dang it, I keep forgetting to go back to here. And yeah, so my keyboard doesn't have a print screen button. I have to do like a function key to get print screen. So I did a different keystroke to do it. But yeah, that is what I use for screenshots. When I was on Windows, I used GreenShot. GreenShot's an open source tool for Windows that is really great for screenshot. It's a great screenshot utility for Windows. So that's what I did. And then let's see, what else do I use? Obviously, OBS is what I use for recording. That's what I'm using for live streaming as well. And then, what I've been using for, will it start up? Where is it? Sometimes things start up in weird screens for me. And then I just use Virt Manager for virtualization right now, and that's been working amazingly well. And so then I will, and it uses Spice is what it actually uses for its interface. And then I set the resolution of the VM to 1080p, and then I literally just full screen it, and that's it. And then I can record this as I'm going. The only thing that I don't like is, and I mentioned it in one of my videos, when I am in the VM, I cannot use my Stream Deck or my X Keys keyboard because for some reason, even the Stream Deck, I was a little surprised that the Stream Deck actually went to the VM, but it doesn't see it as a USB device, but for some reason it counts it as a keystroke and it just gets redirected to the VM. So I can't like change like, oh my gosh, it did. Maybe it wasn't selected. Oh my gosh, is it actually working now? Select that. It's working. Never mind. Everything I said was a lie. It works great. I have no complaints now. That was a frustration I had when the VM was in focus. It would, I couldn't use my Stream Deck, but I can now. So hurrah and huzzah. Maybe that was part of my compositor causing issues there as well. Because wow, that is just stinking great. How do I don't remember. Oh, I just close it up here, I think. I want to get this out of my way. Virtual machine, mate, close. And then save. Yes, I want to save it. Boom. And then that's done. I think Catherine asked a question too. Wow, I missed a bunch. Okay, print screen. Print screen? No, not print screen. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, I just don't have a print screen button. Oh, no one allows you to capture video. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I do like OBS for capturing because I can do things like answer Catherine's question next. Samples and tests. So what version of OBS am I using? So slight rant, and I can't go too long because I do want to do the weekend assignment. But the version of OBS that is in the Debian repositories, I'm using Debian testing or Bookworm. It installs and it's fairly recent. However, Debian does not compile OBS with the browser source feature. And that is vital. That's how, like, for example, how these are working. This is just a browser source. And I use a browser source all the time. And it just, I think because it like includes something Chromium that doesn't jive with the Debian way of licensing or something. I don't know. So they compile that option out and it's a real pain in the butt. So I tried the Flatpak from OBS and that's what happened last week. The chaos from last week where everything like stopped working and I had to reboot. That was me trying to use the Flatpak version of OBS. So what I ended up doing is I got the Ubuntu 22.10 deb file. So the deb file that's made for Ubuntu 22.10. And I installed that on my Debian machine, but Ubuntu supports, what is it? ZXT compression? I don't even remember what the compression scheme is. But Debian doesn't. So I had to extract the contents of the deb file, recompress it with XV, recombine it into a deb file, and then install that in Debian. So it was a convoluted way of going about it, but now I have 28.1.2 that was compiled for Ubuntu, repacked for Debian, and is working. How's that for a long answer? And then, Catherine, how do I put myself in the circle while presenting? So it's just a screen. So when I come down here to my Wacom tablet, I'm capturing one of my screens using the screen capture. Here, I'll do that whole thing that drives everybody nuts, where you like show the thing in the thing. And so this is my Wacom scene. And then as sources, I have the chat overlay, which is the browser source that gives us the chat. My microphone, my wireless microphone, which is muted right now. And then the Logitech camera is right here. And so this is just my Logitech webcam that is right down here, like right behind my Wacom tablet. And using a filter on this, in fact, since we're looking, I can actually show you. So if I click on it and I go to filters, it's an image mask blend, and it's just a PNG file that is like black and white. And I don't remember if the circle in the middle is black or if the circle in the middle is white and the outside is black, but it just allows you to mask using an alpha channel. So it just shows that part. And I just applied that filter, and then it's just another source that I laid on top of the capture screen. And then if I'm presenting something where I have an issue where my face is in the way, and don't say my face is always in the way, hush. I have a little button on my Stream Deck that makes this source invisible. So this little eyeball right here, I don't know if you can see me clicking on it over here, but the Wacom source just turns that on and off, so I can get myself out of the way if I'm in the way. And yeah, I think that's it. So let me get my screen back up here. Hopefully that answered the question. So yeah, that's how I do that. Sebastian, starting Vert Manager when VBox messed up your office. Yeah, I had issues with VirtualBox. I don't even remember. I had so many issues getting everything running. I don't remember what the problem was with VirtualBox. I had to get the Oracle version, and then it's still something wasn't right, and I don't remember exactly what it was. The hardware tablet with a pen. This is it's an actual Wacom brand tablet. It's the Cintiq Pro 13. It's a 1080p Wacom brand tablet display. I wouldn't buy it again. It was way overpriced for what it is. I mean, it's well built, and I mean, it was a good investment at the time. But now Wacom makes a Wacom One. And Wacom is native in the Linux kernel. It has been for a very, very long time. And apart from the weird issue that I pasted that link to an unlisted video, apart from that, everything works perfectly. So I would get the Wacom One. It's got more plastic and less metal, but it's still 1080p and is just awesome. That's what I would buy now. And it's less than half the price of. I don't even think these are available anymore. But yeah, it's a Wacom Cintiq 13 Pro or Pro 13 or whatever. Oh, let's see. Vert Manager is so much easier and smoother than VirtualBox. Yeah, it's not as pretty. Obviously, the UI isn't as pretty. And my last experience with it was a lot of years ago, and it was clunky and not great. It was not great at all. So I'm very happy with it now. And the Spice full screen interface is just so slick. It just works so good. I tried really hard to get RDP working because I thought that would be, that's how I did VirtualBox. And yeah, I'm just so much happier with Vert Manager. Only the cake is a lie. Yeah, I realized that I'm behind chat windows. Yeah, my print screen button. Although, what's weird is that inkjet printers have gotten good now. Like where you buy these tanks and they're just not refillable, but like huge tanks of ink, and it lasts like a year. It's amazing how good inkjet is now. So if you haven't gotten an inkjet, because they used to be the worst thing ever, where you'd get like cartridges and it'd be like out of cyan and you have to like replace everything and they're expensive. Yeah, those times are different now. Lewis has the OBS version that works on Flatpak. That's cool. I mean, all the issues I had last week with the live stream with everything failing was because of the Flatpak. And I don't know if it was my graphics card that was conflicting. I don't know what the problem was, but that Flatpak and my computer did not get along. Oh, you're Debian. Yeah, I don't know what version of Debian you have, but I'm using Testing or Bookworm, and it was a recent version, but they don't have the browser source. So if you ever need browser source as a device, like this chat is a browser source. Anytime you put any pop-up things, they're almost always browser sources. That is not in the Debian native package, which drives me nuts. Does LPI give retake for the answer for root? I don't remember. There are so many companies that I made training for over the years, and some of them provide you with the opportunity to take another one. I know the Linux Foundation did allow it because I couldn't even finish my exam because it fell apart. Like their whole testing service fell apart while I was taking it. So they're like, oh, but you could take it again for free. And I'm like, yeah, that was a miserable experience. But I don't know if LPI does or not. I'm sorry, I don't know that answer. You were rich. No, yeah. So, that was my job. I was a trainer at CBT Nuggets. So, yeah, I didn't have a choice. That was, it was what it was. I didn't have a choice. I had to get that. What about using Proxmox server? So I use Proxmox. What I don't know is, can I connect remotely with, a client, can I connect Vert Manager to Proxmox? That would be slick. And I ask because I need to be able to have that really nice high-speed Spice interface on my local Wacom tablet in full screen mode. So if I can make that work, yeah. And I mean, we're going to be using for the demonstration here that I'm going to start 20 minutes ago. I'm using my little test machine that we're going to be logged into is running on Proxmox. That's what I use for all of my virtualization is Proxmox. So yeah, Vert Manager and VirtualBox. Oh no, whoever said that, I'm sorry. And if I said that, I misspoke. Yeah, Vert Manager controls QEMU/KVM on that type of virtualization on a Linux machine, which is what Proxmox uses. Proxmox uses KVM/QEMU. VirtualBox is mostly open source virtualization platform that Oracle currently owns. So yeah, they're definitely different. I want that Epson. Yeah, I have a really nice Epson printer. That's what we use now is an Epson. And the ink really did last us a year. We print quite a bit and the ink lasted a full year. I was shocked. Proxmox. Yeah, once I learned Proxmox, I used to use ESXi because that was what, everybody used again years ago. But now that I have Proxmox, I actually set up a what do they call it? Highly converged cluster at my farm where it's like 3 Proxmox servers, all with, they have SSD drives running Ceph FS over dedicated 10 gigabit network, connections for the Ceph FS part. And then the 3 are in a cluster that's highly available. So if one dies, they automatically migrate things around. It's pretty sweet. I'm really happy with it, and all free. I mean, that's the part that's shocking to me is that you can do a highly, it's not just highly available, it's like highly converged cluster of Proxmox and not pay a dime, and you're not being illegal, which is just so cool. They give free retakes. Oh, doesn't say they give free retake. Okay, yeah, I didn't know the answer to that. Thank you for trying to find that answer, though, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Proxmox, yeah. Proxmox is actually, in my personal opinion, somebody who has used Hyper-V and ESXi and vSphere to control that. I really love Proxmox. I do. And then what's the other one? And after this, I'm going to start the weekend assignment. What is the other virtualization platform? The guy from Lawrence. Oh, what is it? What is the thing that he uses? Dang it. Lawrence, is it communications? I don't even remember. I'm such a bad fan. I'm just bad. He uses, no, he doesn't. I mean, he has Proxmox, but that's not what he's using anymore. Dang it. Where is his page? And it's because I'm live. I can't even remember his, Lawrence Systems, but what? Yeah. Thank you. Bjorn got it. XCPNG. That's what he uses, and he really, really likes it. So I would check that out a lot too, because I really respect his opinion. He's a PFSense guy. I have PFSense everywhere too, he really likes that. He prefers that over Proxmox. I've never tried it, so I don't have a personal opinion other than it's worth looking into based on his opinion. So anyway, there's always that. That's true. I think there's a paid option, but it's free as well. There's I don't know the details, and I'm just talking out of my rear end as far as I don't know the specific licensing. But before I run out of time, which is very likely, and usually every week I run out of time and I'm not done talking. So let's actually do our assignment really quick. Yes, thank you. Get on with the assignment, and we're gonna do this in real time. And so let's go back down to the Wacom tablet here. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm going to move my microphone just a little. Sorry if it's popping and being loud, because we're going to be down here for a while. I'm also going to pop open a screen so I can see if I get in the way. That's another thing about OBS. I can pop open a preview screen and drag it down to where I'm looking, so I can see what you see. So anyway, we have this window. Let's open up another window as well. Oh yeah, that's what I saw out of the corner of my eye movement. So I'm going to move the chat window down there too. All right. All right, new window. That is far too big for this screen. Big Tune is the name of my desktop machine, if you're wondering what this is all about. And we're going to go to just test is the name of the server. All right, and I'm going to be root just so I don't forget to type sudo every single time. All right, so there, I haven't gotten in my way. Nope, my face is barely covering stuff. And then we will also need a web browser. So I installed a very simplistic web browser just for this experience. And I have it auto start in private mode, so it shouldn't cache stuff. This is just the Epiphany browser. Anyway, so here we are. What we need to do is a couple things. Since we are setting up virtual hosts, we need to have DNS working because it's based on DNS instead of IP addresses. So basically, when a web browser requests a web page from a web server, it doesn't just say, you know, hey, 10.10.1.1, give me your web page. It says, hey, 10.10.1.1, give me the web page for, and it tells it a domain. Specifically because of virtual hosting, right? One server can do multiple. So we have to make sure that the host that we are reaching for resolves, and it can just be for us because it doesn't matter if the server like resolves properly. Usually, that's why we're not doing SSL. We're not doing any SSL stuff. This is just port 80 name stuff. Yes, Sebastian, I am going to use the host file, but I'm explaining why we're going to have to do that. So this is the server. Test is our server. Big Tuna is my local workstation here. So if we were to say ping test, all right, test is this IP address, 192.168.1.36. All right. And so I want to be able to ping that same address using multiple names. And so I am going to edit my local hosts file. This is my local computer that I'm sitting at. And I'm editing this file and I'm going to add 192.168.1. Was it 36? I think it was 36. This was in that video that I linked in the weekend assignment, just a really quick, like how to change DNS settings for your local machine instantly. And then let's call our servers thing 1 and thing 2. Okay. And what this is going to do, you can put multiple entries here. And this is just going to be thing 1 will resolve to that and thing 2 will resolve to that. So I'm just going to save this with my host file. And now if we ping thing 1, get my mouse out of the way so you can see it, ping thing 1 and it returns that same address, and then ping thing 2 and same thing. So all of those addresses, test and thing 1 and thing 2, they all resolve as far as my local workstation, Big Tuna here thinks. They all resolve to 192.168.1.36. Okay. So that's over here. This is the test server. Now, if we look, the test server is running a web server, http://test. If I press enter, it's running just a bare install of Caddy. Mason, here, I'm going to pop this up just to clarify. So no, thing 1 and thing 2 are just DNS names now that resolve to the same server. So thing 1, thing 2, and test are all this server, this test server right here. They all are, in fact, we can do IPA, and we can see this computer over here, which is hard to see. Here we go. That's the IP address on that computer. So hopefully that makes sense. That's just all three of those names resolve to this computer named test. All right, so back to our web browser here. You'll see http://test takes us to this computer test, and I just have a bare Caddy installed. This is just the default. When you install Caddy, this is what comes up. And this concept works the same on any web server. I'm just using Caddy, but whether it's Apache or Nginx, they all have their ways of defining virtual hosts. I just use Caddy because I love Caddy. So anyway, that's set up, but we need to set up virtual hosts now. And so in Caddy, that's going to be in the etc. Caddy folder. In fact, let's just so that you can you don't think there's anything up my sleeve. If I were to say http://thing1, actually, I expected it to give me that that exact same thing, but yeah, nothing, right? So it's broken. It's just not working. Okay, it does not give us any page at all. So over here in etc caddy on the test machine, if we look, there's one file called caddy file. So I'm going to edit this file, and this is the default catch-all, okay? And it's defined here as anything on port 80, I want you to serve to user local share caddy. I don't know why this actually didn't resolve there. Maybe I didn't restart the server. But anyway, that's what it serves out. And I want to make an entry specifically for a new server. So I'm going to edit this file, and I'm going to create a new entry, and that's going to be thing1 and port 80. The reason I'm putting port 80 is because otherwise caddy will try to resolve on the internet and get SSL certs automatically, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm just specifying port 80. And then open brackets. I'm going to use the exact same format that the catch-all up there does. The root level where all files are is going to be var www thing1. So I just by habit, I always put all of my web servers in var www, and then I'm going to create this folder thing1. I wanted to serve files, and that's it. Okay, let's do another one while we're here just to save time. Thing2 on port 80, open curly braces, root, everything, var www thing2, file server, close curly braces, and that should be all we need to get everything working. So what will happen is when it sees a request for thing1, it should say, oh, you're asking for thing1. I have a special place where I store thing1's website. And these are just all virtual hosts using the same IP address. All right, so let's save this file, but we actually have to make that var www thing1 file, right? So let's go into var www. Right now there's an HTML folder in there. So I'm going to make a directory, mkdir thing1, mkdir thing2. Let's say inside the thing1 folder, we're going to say index.html because I want it to serve it out. So index.html inside the thing1 folder. And I'm just going to say in an h1 tag, hello, I am thing1. Close that h1 tag. All right, we'll save that. And now the same thing, but in the thing2 folder. And here we'll put it another h1 tag. I am number 2. Don't laugh. I didn't name myself. Number 2 joke. Haha. Poop jokes are always funny. So anyway, so that's in thing number 2. And now we need to restart the service. So systemctl, restart caddy. And now that really should be it. So if things go well, if I come over here and I'm at HTTP thing1, I'm going to type it out again. HTTP, oh, not S. I almost tried to do the SSL. HTTP :// thing1. Let's see. Hello, I am thing1. And then if we do the same thing, I'm going to type the whole thing. HTTP thing2. I'm number 2. Don't laugh. I didn't name myself. So it worked. And then if we go back to test, it should get that original page still. HTTP test. And back to the original page. So it's actually serving 3 websites, even though it's one server. And so, yeah, that's basically all that you have to do to get virtual hosting working. And then move this back now. And then if you use whatever you use, like caddy does it automatically, which is why I love it. If you have that port exposed to the internet, like port 80 and port 443, and you have DNS like in your actual DNS server in the sky that is set up to resolve things into that IP address that you have, it will automatically get SSL certs so that it will serve all of your websites via SSL, and you can serve multitudes of websites from one IP address using virtual hosts. And yeah, it's just pretty slick. And the same thing. So the reason I use it for many reasons, but one of the things I really love about Caddy is that it does reverse proxy. I think somebody actually just talked about, like setting up a reverse proxy. Yeah, it's so good at reverse proxying. And that's like when I set up my Mastodon instance, it is my Caddy server is reverse proxying. So my one exposed IP address reverse proxies into like the container that is inside my local LAN. So I don't have to expose a live IP address to Mastodon. I can just have that reverse proxy send all that information in and out from my Mastodon server. So yeah, that's cool. But that's the idea behind virtual hosts. So let me catch up on some comments here. Yeah, trying to keep the entire internet in a host file. I'm guessing that's why somebody invented a DNS server, because what a pain in the butt that would have been. Let's see. Yeah, Mastodon. I recently set up mine too. Yeah. Sean Powers with a 0 for the O at nerdlings.net. Recommendations to do dynamic DNS for dynamic. Yeah. So, I really like Duck DNS. I used a couple in the past, and I've actually even written my own, which I don't recommend, but Duck DNS seems to be really, really rock solid. I used to use Afraid DNS. The problem is if you don't update it for a long time, they disable it, and that was a pain in the butt. But yeah, Duck DNS is free, and it's really reliable. I've been really, really happy with Duck DNS. That's what I use for my home IP address. In fact, I have a business. I think it's a business. Maybe it's not even a business one anymore at home. But I have a live IP, and I serve some small things from my home. But I use Duck DNS to do that. Caddy plays well with databases on the back end. I mean, yeah. So yes, generally the reverse proxy doesn't touch the actual databases. Generally, it's the app that you are reverse proxying that does the interaction with the databases and stuff. But yeah, and I like a reverse proxy to separate services from the wild internet anyway. But when you have multiple services and not an unlimited number of public IPs, there's really not much of an option, right? You have to use some tool in order to allow you to serve multiple things from one IP. So yeah, on the InfoSec Mastodon server. Yeah, I don't have a desire to moderate. So like my Mastodon server is not open because I don't want to be in charge. I just want to have my own instance, my own home. And plus I wanted to set it up to see how tough it was. Yeah, so maybe I will, and I kind of did a little bit. I think I did. If there's a video in my archives somewhere about Caddy and reverse proxying, and that's basically the gist is using reverse proxy, and Caddy is really, really good at that. I mean, other things do too. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people prefer Nginx. The thing about Nginx and Apache is that in order to automatically do SSL certs, you also have to do certbot. Again, not a real problem, but Caddy does everything on its own. It's just simplistic. And I mean, you saw how complicated the configuration file for a virtual host was. It's super, super simple, and I'm lazy, so that's why I really like. With my servers at my farm, do I have more than one IP? So I have a block of 5 IPs, and yeah, it's most services still come out of one main IP though. Most of my web services still come out of their reverse proxied. Like my mail server is on its own IP address because I want it to have a good reputation. But yeah, the others, and I have like my actual farm house. I keep that traffic separate in and out on its own IP, so it's not conflicting with my server stuff. So yeah. So I generally just use the one server or the one IP for almost everything though. So yeah, we did it. That was the assignment. Did anybody play with it? I mean, it's fine if you didn't, but I'm curious if anybody did any of the virtual hosting. Rewrite. Who manages that? So no, Caddy does not read htaccess files. I don't actually remember how Nginx does it. I think Nginx can read it, but with Caddy, maybe there's a way to do a user-defined overrides, but I don't know it. I just you can set redirects and you can set specific reverse proxies, like for only certain directories and stuff. You can do a reverse proxy, or you can redirect, like for Mastodon, in order to have. I have like mastodon.nerdlings.net is my host. That's my server. But I want my actual handle to be at spowers@nerdlings.net, just the naked domain. And to do that, I had to redirect like the .wellknown / I don't even know what it was, but Mastodon or something. You have to redirect that to your whole thing. But yeah, it does do redirects and all that sort of stuff. Oh, that is allowed. Cake is a definite good reason not to do work on a Sunday or a Saturday, for that matter. I use Apache. I used to use Apache a lot. I started trying to use Caddy a lot just because it's so easy to configure the reverse proxies. That's what really got me into Caddy, was the ease at which it does reverse proxying. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Again, you won't be graded down, mainly because you're not graded anyway. But yeah, it's fun. And I mean, really, that was a real-time thing. I mean, I truly did all those things in real time. And once you understand what it's doing, it's not too difficult to kind of comprehend like how you're setting up a virtual host and what that means. Because it's the thing I wasn't sure about a long time ago, and is whether or not the server needed to have resolution working. And every time I've tried it, no. The server doesn't care. The server just looks at the request and then sees if the request that it received for a certain domain, if that's in its configuration. And if it is, it redirects it, because the test server has no idea what thing 1 or thing 2 even means. And it doesn't resolve properly for the test server. But since it received a request with that label at its IP address, it's like, yeah, I mean, I got that in my configuration file. So cool. Must be valid. So anyway, that's kind of cool. Oh yes. Yeah, Lewis. I scrolled past, but it is on the screen there. Yeah, Lewis switched over to Hugo for his personal page. So yeah, that's awesome. And I started using Hugo. So the reason I switched from, I was using a Little Link. You've probably heard me talk about Little Link before. I was using that just because it's a nice little Docker container. It would spin up, and it's just the SeanPowers.com domain, Sean Powers with the 0.com domain. It just takes you to a page of links. But I switched over to Hugo, one, because Hugo's freaking awesome, but also because I needed to add a rel equals me link so that my Mastodon profile would verify with the green check mark, that it's actually me and it's actually my domain. And so I needed to just change the code a little bit. And so I did. And yeah, it works. And yeah, Lewis is doing the same thing. He's using Hugo as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, they don't. Okay, I didn't remember if Nginx actually honors htaccess or not. That must just be an Apache thing. So, yeah, that's good to know. Oh my goodness, IIS. I have not done a lot of work on IIS, but I worked at a place that used an NT. I'm dating myself, I know, an NT server for their web services. And it was because the web services at that point required IIS, like whatever app they were using. And they used IIS, but oof, yeah, I remember really not liking it. I still want to star. I missed something. Oh, you want a star? Okay. I don't have one, but here. There, I put a sticker on the chart for you, Mason. I did the virtual host, but instead of editing the host file, I edited the DNS server on my NAT router. Okay, that works too. I was just lazier and I just added the host file. And I did it that way because I had just posted that YouTube short about using the hosts file, and I thought it was a good opportunity to say, hey, we just learned this, so you could do it this way. Church was the initial stop though, leading each group today. Oh. Yeah, that's a good I hope you got some of the cake though. I mean, cake is important. I have Apache on my machine and did that with virtual host. Docker. Yeah. I really like Docker for a lot of the applications I run, and that's where a reverse proxy is just so great because you just forward it to your Docker server at that port, and boom, it just works. Old .NET, and that's probably what it was. I think it was probably a .NET program that they were using. Again, this is right before my car accident. This was back in '99. It was on NT4, and it was when I was working at the college. I was the tech support guy for the Unix dial-up internet service that they were providing, and I also somehow had to manage an NT4 IIS web server. Maybe it was how they changed passwords. Maybe that was the application. That's just a guess, though. So yeah, we're going to grade you. You get a sticker, though. An intranet on IIS and ASP. Yeah, Sebastian. Also, man, you're dating yourself here. Server up, the future islands will be flooded. Oh, yeah. I don't have a magical server, unfortunately, but yeah, that's a whole nother talk about climate change and stuff. 43-year-old. You hush, Sebastian. He says from his 47-year-old body. Anyway, yeah, anything else that's going on? I think we covered a ton of stuff. And I'm glad the demonstration worked good. And apparently the Spice not taking control of my Stream Deck is working too. I don't know if that's going to be a consistent thing, because that was pretty slick. That was a problem that I was really bummed about, but it didn't show itself when we were just doing the demo earlier. So maybe that's solved. Scott. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'll get off your lawn. I saw the entire computer picture. It's easier for us. The entire computer. Yeah, across time. Is that what you're talking about, Sebastian? Lewis. Lewis is timeless, though, right? Like a fine wine. And it's possible that Lewis will be coming to the States in the future to do a presentation. I'm excited about that. Might get to meet him in Meet Space. So, anyway. Yeah. Slack. I like Slack, but yeah, the whole idea, like, it's just IRC. It's IRC with licensing, right? And yeah, there's some nice things that have been done, like the threading is nice, and I get it, but it could have been built on IRC so nicely. So anyway, we got about 8 or 7 minutes left. Is there anything else that I've been talking about that has been confusing, or that I didn't cover, or that I should have covered, or any other questions about my Linux setup here now? I have, I'm trying to think all of the different things that I use. I use Trillium for my note taking, and that's what I use actually for the weekend assignment sharing. How long before I get back to Windows? It's funny. I was talking to Shane about this earlier, and yeah, the 2.5 weeks or whatever of just hair pulling out frustration was miserable. But, and it's a big but, now that things are working pretty stable and I'm pretty happy with how all of the things are working, I do honestly much prefer Linux, as long as all the solutions keep working. Like if you saw yesterday's video, I'm still getting the hang of using Krita to draw on, and like some frustrations there with how vector like speech bubbles are done for my comic. But most things, and I still don't have a great way to do slides, but right now Canva and PDF is working okay. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So I don't think I'm going to be going back to Windows anytime soon. If anything, I would probably, I have regular backups. I use Backup PC, and I take constant backups of all my machines, including this one. So I would probably do a fresh install and get my stuff back because it actually works good now. But man, but I'm also using like IceWM, which was made in 1997. Although the most recent update was in October of 2022. So good on the IceWM team for staying up to date. But I mean, I'm not using a desktop manager. I'm using just a window manager. I'm using, it's just old school stuff. So, but it works. And so I'm happy with it. I like the video with a little behind the scenes for the comic. Yes, they are. In fact, that comic, I started to draw, and then it was during the drawing of the comic that I discovered how challenging speech bubbles, of all things, are. And yeah, it was in the video. I made the square one. I have to make the round one still, where I can reuse the vector file. So I just make a vector version of, so Blue has square speech bubbles, and then every other character has like rounded speech bubbles, just because I've always done it that way. I have to make vector graphics of all of them with lots and lots of like points around, like the path or whatever. I'm not a graphics guy. Anyway, I can import that and resize it and like pull down a speech bubble tail and stuff, and then use the text tool, which is awkward and doesn't word wrap, but to put stuff in. So yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow's. I'll probably put a comic out tomorrow. That one that you actually saw the first part of will be a comic, and I'm excited. The drawing part went really, really well with Krita. And that last little nagging issue with the Wacom, where like if I put my palm on it, it like locks up until I tap it again. Hopefully that will get solved, or my glove will work well enough to make that work. Let's see, other questions. Have I ever met Linus or Richard Stallman? No, I haven't met. I don't think so. Have I ever met Linus? I mean, I went to Portland Linux Con. I don't think he was there. I don't know. I mean, we did interviews with him at Linux Journal. I don't think I've met him in person though, but it's possible. I don't know. Richard Stallman, I've never met. I did meet, RMS. RMS? Yeah, the other guy. He was at, Penguicon. Let's see. The factory daily driver. Yeah. It was a forced transition, but at the back side of it, I'm happy, I guess. Still, I'm not going to pretend it wasn't a horrible frustration though. Yeah, if everything keeps working, it's going to keep working. Dang it. And I might get a different, capture card because do I have them? So I have cam links, like name brand Elgato cam links, and they work, but then they seem to like lock up, and I have to unplug them back in, and that's a little frustrating. So right now I just have a cheap off-brand Amazon HDMI to USB. It was like $30 that I bought like 5 years ago. That's what this is right here, and it seems to be working fairly well. So, but I guess Magewell or Maxwell, one of them works really good with Linux. So if I have to get another capture device, it'll probably be something that's more Linux compatible. To Alpine Linux. Oh, yeah. So I actually, Scott, it was you that was telling me. I didn't realize that you could actually use it for more than, Alpine Linux is what I always use when I build a Docker container, because it's, stripped down, small, but still, viable. It's not like BusyBox. It's like a real distro, but I didn't realize you could use it for more. So that's actually kind of cool. Yeah. I'm loving being back on Debian after like 20 years of not. It's pretty nice. There are some frustrations like that OBS browser capture thing. I'm like, come on guys. I mean, what's going on here? Yeah, Krita, I don't know. Did you see the video from yesterday, Lewis? I did. I explained it and I showed it a little bit, like about my comic. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, it was on my secondary channel. It wasn't on this channel, so I apologize for that. But if you go to 90daysofmayhem.com, there's a link to the video where I talk about, it says it's happening, and I'm pointing at my comic, and I talk about Krita and my frustrations there. Almost out of time. Let's see if I can get everything else done. The only sad thing about Linux is Adobe not porting. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed emotions. Like I need to cancel because I'm still paying for my Adobe Cloud subscription. I mean, educational price, but still I need to cancel that. In fact, when I'm done here, I'm going to cancel that because I don't use it at all now. I have no way to use it. Uh, but yeah, the other tools are okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the, like with Krita and things like Inkscape are pretty robust at these days. They used to be kludgy, but now they're much, much better. Because do you remember, I don't know how long you've been following what I've been doing online, but Linux Journal, we did for April Fool's one year, we did, that we were switching platforms and we were going to BOS. And so if you look on Google and search for BOS Linux Journal, you'll see all the articles that we did. Now, unfortunately, the new owners have taken down the YouTube site. So all of the videos that I made aren't there. I think they're actually, if you're a Patreon subscriber, I think all of those old BOS videos that we did in the day are in the welcome basket. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Should have a group on Discord to show all of our setups. Yeah. You know what, Mason, just just go to one of the channels and say, hey, post your thing here because I'm not really good at Discord. But yeah, that would be really, really awesome. That was very kind, Dwayne. He is a bit eccentric. That is yep. All right. Yes, Lewis, daily driver. I'm impressed. And I'm probably here for a while now. Let's see. I'm already running over. Is it possible to record a presentation on cloud desktop with mic? I mean, depending, if you're recording like the cloud session, like from a local computer, I think you would still have to have a local computer to get the mic to work well. Although I mean, as long, if the browser supports it, I suppose, depending on what tool you're using, I would still try to do something locally and just record a window or something like that. Stallman. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm just about done. Started 40 days instead of 90. Yeah, I know, but it was to the end of the year. So that's the whole thing. Yeah. I thought about GIMP. Yeah, I did try it, but Krita has some more features that I like. All right, I'm done. Let's see. Google Drive and OneDrive. Google Drive and OneDrive both work with rclone, so maybe both of those. Pop OS. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just keep talking. That's kind of how I end up rolling. So, thank you everybody. The live stream worked. Yes, it worked. I don't think it glitched or anything, so it was great. We were even able to switch back and forth to here and to here. So, hooray for things working! And I will see everybody on the next video every day until the end of 2022 because I'm bought the domain, so I'm going to do it. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. Thanks again for chatting with me. It was a lot of fun. I'll see you later. And this is the awkward part where I have to press stop in 3 spots for it to actually stop streaming.